Good morning, it's Friday. I think you're watching this on Sunday. And this week I have had a bit of a nightmare. I ended up really hurting my back, and thankfully it's doing a lot better now, hence why I'm able to sit like this. But I really just had a bit of a nightmare. Obviously pregnancy just takes its toll on your body, and I have a weakness in my lower back anyway, and the other day it just went. So I haven't filmed a vlog for you this week because I was on the sofa for about 2 or 3 days, which I actually in hindsight realised probably made my back worse. And so don't do that. If you have a bad back, make sure you're moving gently, just, you know, getting up from your seat every hour or so that you're not putting pressure on it, because I made that mistake that I was in pain. I just didn't want to move because it hurt so badly, but it also hurt when I was sitting. So yeah, the last couple of days I've been doing some stretches and moving a bit more, and it is improving. I can still feel that there's pain there. I've been referred to a physio, so I've just got to be careful from now on. However, because I didn't film a vlog because I've really been doing nothing, I was going to do a Q&A with you instead. So I've asked some questions over on Instagram, and let's get straight into it. So you can just pop this on in the background if you're cleaning, cooking, whatever, and you can listen to this kind of like a little casual, chilled podcast. Okay, so the first question is, how will you approach veganism with your kid? No judgment, whatever your answer, it's your kid. This is definitely a question I get asked all the time. So this is a really hard question to answer because I'm not a parent yet. I'm obviously pregnant, but I don't have a baby here. I'm not weaning my baby. I haven't got experience in the outside world. I haven't spoken to a dietitian or a doctor. And so this stance may completely change, and I'm not going to be rigid in how I feel about it. When I start to wean my baby, I will listen to doctor's advice, and if they suggest that I feed my baby some foods, vegetarian foods like milk or eggs, I know that there's obviously that phase where you have to check for allergens. I'm not at the point where I'm fully researched because I'm not at that stage of parenting yet, but I will do my research at that time and maybe share an update for you. But if my understanding is that they need to be exposed to certain foods, I don't know that they would need to be exposed to meats because I don't know enough, but if they do need to be exposed to things like milk and eggs, which are kind of common allergens, then I will feed them those things just for that process. And I think my general approach is that my children will be plant-based vegan at home with me, but out and about I'm not going to put that on people who look after them. So if they're at nursery or if they're at school with family, with friends, and they're at a birthday party, they're going to enjoy the cake, they're going to enjoy the food. Obviously I may advise people, and I will tell people that we are vegetarian, vegan family, so they can do with that what they will. But I absolutely believe it is not my place to make my children feel left out or out of place or have a kind of stigma around food. A lot of you know I have a history with an eating disorder, and I don't want them to feel self-conscious about it from a young age. I also want them to have their own autonomy and decisions in things. So I will obviously explain to them when they understand in a child-friendly way why I'm vegan, why I choose not to eat animal products, but it's ultimately their decision as they get older. But having said all that, you can have children be vegan and be completely 100% healthy. It's recommended as a healthy diet if it's followed correctly and properly by the NHS. So I intend on, when I start to wean our baby, to speak with a dietitian and get all the advice and all the information, so I'm being sensible, doing it the right way. But it's completely and perfectly healthy. That's not what I'm worried about at all whatsoever. But I'm not going to be rigid because I think that could be a downfall. Has pregnancy been anything like you expected it to be? To be honest, pregnancy has been so much harder than I expected it to be. I guess there's a part of pregnancy that you see in the media that's this very magical, beautiful thing, which it is. And I often would see pregnant women kind of glowing, thriving. Maybe they would have like the kind of typical morning sickness and, you know, walking around feeling uncomfortable. But there's very much this kind of like goddess vision I had of pregnancy. Like when you're pregnancy, you're beautiful, you're thriving, you're growing a person. And I suppose I took some of the symptoms I would have seen in other people lightheartedly. Like, yeah, you get heartburn, yeah, you feel a bit unwell, you get a bit sick, it's quite tiring. But until you actually experience it, you don't realise how unbelievably taxing it is on your body. It is wild. So this has been a roller coaster that I did not expect it to be like. It has been personally quite a difficult experience. I was nauseous up until maybe like 17 weeks. I wasn't really sick. I think I was sick maybe twice, but I had nausea all day long. So I didn't have morning sickness, and I really think that it should be changed. I don't know why we call it morning sickness. I think that's really incredibly unhelpful for it to be called morning sickness. I think it should just be called pregnancy sickness, or I don't know. There would be plenty of other terms that would be much more helpful if we switched around, because I think it creates this kind of idea that you should only be sick in the morning and the rest of the day you're fine. I felt nauseous all day, and so it made it hard for me to eat my normal foods. It made it hard for me to concentrate and get my work done and live a normal life. When the morning sickness went away, I experienced pretty bad mental health. My depression was horrific. My anxiety was really bad. It was very triggering for me as someone who's overcome a lot of those problems. It was just a very difficult time for my mind and my brain. And thankfully I went to therapy, which really, really helped. And I feel so much better now. But yeah, the second trimester was not this kind of, oh, you'll feel so much better in the second trimester. You'll be a different person. You just wait for the second trimester. It's like this blissful period. That did not happen for me. The second trimester, I was still feeling very sick and very, very tired. And yeah, my mental health was in the pits. So I'm really grateful I managed to get the help I needed, and it really did assist me. So if you're going through that, then definitely speak to your midwife or go and get therapy privately, because I have therapy through BetterHelp and I do work with BetterHelp. So I've had a really positive experience. My therapist is the best therapist I've ever had, and she talks to me from a point of view of someone who's pregnant and going to have a baby. So it's what we're working on a lot of the time. And I've been able to have tools and things in place to really overcome a lot of the issues I was facing. And now in my third trimester, I felt amazing for about 3 or 4 weeks, probably about 3 weeks, where my mental health was doing so much better. I was so much more calm. My therapist went through like all the things I'd mentioned at the start of therapy, and I was just absolutely blown away by how much better I was feeling, how far I'd come from those original statements that I'd said when I first started therapy. And then I started to get back pain the last week, so that's kind of put a bit of a spanner in the works. And yeah, this stage of pregnancy I'm feeling much more like myself, much happier, much more me, but I am feeling the anxiety of I guess like life stuff, just the anticipation of baby coming, having a lot on my plate at the minute and feeling like I can't really get on. This kind of ticking clock that's counting down is the feeling I'm having right now. And physically not being able to do as much. I think that's the kind of thing you have to surrender to in pregnancy, that you can't physically do as much. So I often set myself things to do and I'm not able to achieve them, and I still can't really get my head around that. I know that that's preempting having a child and having a baby, and it's preparing me for that, because it will be the same, if not obviously a lot worse, when I have a baby. I'll have even less time. Maybe I'll be physically able, but I will have less time because I'm obviously a mother. Yeah, that adjustment is difficult for me at the moment, running my own business, renovating a cottage, I'm working on a project behind the scenes, there's lots going on. So that's kind of more like outside things that are kind of affecting my personal experience of pregnancy right now. But pregnancy definitely is not what I expected. It has been a lot harder, it's been a lot longer, and it's been a challenge for sure. I have enjoyed pregnancy in terms of growing a baby and having that connection with her. I feel so close to her already. I cannot wait for her to arrive. I'm so in love with her, and the experience of growing a baby is just, yeah, it's unlike anything I've ever been through. So that is the most amazing part, and that's what makes it all worth it, because even though you feel sick or even though you have bad back pain, you feel a little kick, or you go to a scan and you see them and you're just like, oh my goodness, that is crazy that my body is growing a person that has a fusion of mine and Alex's DNA and is going to be their own unique individual who I can get to know and love and just experience. So it's all worth it, really, even though my expectations and my thoughts on pregnancy weren't, I guess, what I imagined. It is also more mind-blowing and more like, oh, than I imagined too. What are you most excited about when thinking of motherhood? Honestly, I am so excited to give birth and have that first moment of seeing the baby and touching her, feeling her and her being in the world. That is honestly something I cannot wait for, that euphoric feeling. And I'm just really excited to be a mum. I've always wanted to be a mum ever since I was younger. I was the mum in my friendship group. I remember so vividly getting my period and being like, oh my goodness, I've got my period, this means I could be a mum one day. And just that's how I've always felt. So I have definitely felt for the last few years that there was that part of my life that was missing, that I really wanted to add. Alex was a bit more like, he wanted to wait a little bit to see, because I think it's different for everybody, and potentially different for men and for women, but he wasn't as like, yes, I want this to happen now. Whereas I was like, yes, like after we had got married, I was like, I want to have babies. I'm just so ready. I'm so ready for that addition to my life. I feel like we've got this beautiful home, this beautiful life together, and I just want to have our little family. So that's what I'm looking forward to, just growing our family and all of us being together and experiencing motherhood for all its ups and downs. I'm sure I'll do an update in a year's time. I'll do a Q&A about motherhood, and I'll probably say that my expectation of motherhood was so different from what it was in reality, just like pregnancy, but I cannot wait for it. Are you designing a nursery? So there are a few questions about the nursery. Sorry if I keep cutting, but my heartburn is quite bad today. I keep having to burp. So our pink bedroom next door, I'll link the renovation of that room. That room is going to be the nursery. We haven't started doing anything in there yet. We're very lucky that that room already feels kind of very nursery-like. I do wonder, I look back and think, was that like some kind of inner intuition I had that I was going to have a little girl, because it's pink with like bees and butterflies on the curtains. It's very, very pretty and very appropriate for a child. So it's really kind of set up to be a nursery. We've got a bed in there, which is helpful if one of us needs to sleep in there whilst baby's maybe struggling to sleep, but we haven't done anything in there. We need to spend like a weekend sorting it, because I've just chucked all baby's stuff in there. We need to like empty the wardrobes. I need to get a chest of drawers in there and sort it. I'm not putting any pressure on myself to do that before baby comes, or for it to be a thing that I have to do. I'm sure I will. I think at the very least we will organise it in there. So we'll put everything away, obviously ahead of baby coming, but I'm not putting pressure on myself to like decorate or put like, you know, pretty things in there like bookshelves and accessories to make it like a nursery. I may have time, you know, there may be like right at the end of pregnancy when our cottage is done that I have time and I think, you know what, I could probably just spend this week doing this and easily get it done because it's pretty much already there. But I'm not putting the pressure or the plan in place, because our baby won't be in there until they are out of our bedroom, because they'll be in a cot next to our bed until they're, what, I don't know, isn't it like 6-7 months? So they don't really need to move out before then. So I do have that time to do it, and it's not like we're going to be painting the walls or decorating and doing anything crazy. So that's my approach. So you may see a nursery makeover before baby comes, or maybe afterwards, who knows, but no pressure there. I've got too many other things to think about. How did you deal with morning sickness when you were in your first trimester? I don't know if I can offer any advice. I think the things that I had that helped were frozen fruit. I would nibble on frozen fruits, and I got this tip from Lily Pebbles because I watched her first trimester vlog, and she said that like sucking on frozen fruits really helped her. So I'd have frozen grapes in the freezer at all times. Just would buy frozen fruits and just eat like bowls of like frozen berries or mangoes. Anything fresh just really helped, like fresh cucumbers, and not eating large amounts of food. Anytime I ate a large amount of food, it would make me feel so much more sick. So eating smaller amounts of food, and I had to eat first thing. Literally the second I woke up, I had to eat. So I would have kind of like 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and with dinner I'd try and make sure I didn't go back for seconds. I would just have like a normal sized plate. And there were some days where I wasn't able to eat that much food. I just couldn't eat because you just feel too sick to eat. So listen to your body and don't like put pressure on yourself. I definitely think if I look back, I put a lot of pressure on myself to be getting all the nutrients I needed, which is very important. But some days that's not possible, and that's okay. I think I tried to kind of do that in the morning. So make sure I got my fruit, foods that you can tolerate so that you have some balance there. I try and get my fruit in and have like toast, maybe with some avocado, some oranges. And yeah, just thinking of the foods that I could tolerate that were healthy so I could have them with the plain foods that were more appealing. But at the end of the day, if you're feeling sick, you got to do what you got to do. You can't really work around it. So sometimes I would be just having buttery pasta or toast and butter, and that was all I could have, or some chips. In all honesty, I think it's just something you have to tolerate. I did get anti-sickness medication from my doctor, which I took a few times, but I was a bit scared of taking medication. So I don't know if I have the magical answer, unfortunately. Okay, why home birth? No judgment, just curious, sending you all the positive birthing vibes. I have always felt that I wanted to have a home birth, and I have really tried not to fight that intuition throughout my pregnancy. I've been very lucky, no one has questioned that intuition. I've had midwives who've been very excited when I've said to them I want to have a home birth. I have my sister who had a home birth with her second baby, and just everyone around me is like, oh, that's so great, that's so cool, love that. So it's not, I know that that's a different experience for some people, that maybe you have a partner or a family member or someone who's, or maybe midwives who are uncertain of the idea of a home birth for you. And I've been very lucky that I felt very supported in that decision. I think it's just something I've always thought would be something I'd like to do. I get a bit scared in hospitals. I do have health anxiety. Alex also has kind of a bit of white coat syndrome. He fainted during our scan at 12 weeks, and he often faints in hospitals. So for both of us, we thought we'd feel much more comfortable being at home, preparing for a home birth as a preference. And if we end up in hospital, we end up in hospital. But that's kind of what I've always imagined for myself. And I really think that that's something that should be taken on board. If you're pregnant right now and you have a kind of intuition of how you want to see your birth, go with it. If that is in hospital, if that's at home, if that's in the birthing centre, whatever you have a pull towards that's going to make you feel the most comfortable. I really truly think that that is what you should go with. If you've done your research and you're really kind of getting a sense when you're looking into things, because that's going to provide you probably with the best possible experience. Obviously things happen, you just don't know, that you can't control, but at least you're going into it feeling like, right, I feel really comfortable with my birth preference of what I want to do. That gives you that confidence and that kind of calm feeling, which for me is having a birth at home. We'll have midwives here, obviously. We've also hired a doula. I feel very, very comfortable having a home birth because I have had a relatively uncomplicated pregnancy. There's nothing that's come up in pregnancy that I've had to be seen by a doctor for. There's nothing that's like any complications. If there had been, then I probably would reconsider based off of that. Yeah, I felt very empowered in my decision, and birth doesn't have to be a medical experience. It can be sometimes, but it's a natural thing, so there's no reason why I can't have a very successful home birth. And I've obviously got the support here. I've got midwives, got my doula. Alex and I are going to feel more comfortable at home and in our space. And if we have to go to the hospital, then we do. For me, I don't feel like it's any different. The other option for me would have been a birthing centre just down the road, which is no closer to the hospital. So I don't really know why I would go there when they have all the same stuff that I would have at home. They're going to bring all that stuff here anyway. So yeah, I'm excited. I've got to decide where I want to kind of give birth, whether it's going to be in this bedroom, whether it's going to be in our living room, all of that sort of decision making. Hopefully we're going to think about maybe next week, or when we have our next session with our doula. We're doing sort of birth prep with her, and I'm actually feeling really positive about a home birth, but you never know, I'll probably come back. I'll come back when I've given birth and I'll give you a birth story, and either I've shared that we had a home birth and it went really well, or maybe things didn't go to plan, we had to go to hospital and things changed. Who knows? We'll see. And I'm open to both. I'm not set again on like, I really need to have a home birth and that's it. Like, I'm gonna make a decision, obviously, based on what's happening. Okay, here's a kind of light-hearted question. Have you had to change up your skincare during pregnancy? 1 second, let me go and get my skincare. Oh, my back. Also, this outfit, this is from Seraphine. They sent this to me. Kind of looks like pyjamas, which it basically is. But it's so gorgeous. This full set is all matching. It's a maternity set so that you can wear this pregnant and also postpartum. It's so comfortable, it feels so luxurious. I can imagine this on holiday with like lovely shoes and a handbag, or just chilling at home. It's perfect. I absolutely love it. And also it's great that it's a co-ord because I can switch this up. I can wear the trousers with like a t-shirt, or I can wear the shirt with like leggings or shorts. Absolutely love it. So go have a little look at their maternity stuff, because this is probably my favourite thing that I've been sent so far. during pregnancy. I've worn it 2 times already and they've only sent it to me like 3 days ago, so I absolutely love this. So in my first trimester, my skin definitely acted up. I had some funny rashes and like spots around my cheeks. Maybe I've got some pictures I could show you. And just sort of redness, irritation. So the first thing I did was just completely reduce and simplify my routine. I was using actives in my routine and fragrance. So I went to Boots and I got the Ordinary Squalane Cleanser and a moisturiser as well. I will link the moisturiser I got and put on screen what it was called. I can't remember. The reason I went for these is because they're fragrance free, and the Ordinary, obviously their ingredients are more like simple. That's the whole point, is that it's like not like long lists of things. So this is like, it's a squalane cleanser and that's it. And there's no fragrance, and I think fragrance can be a trigger for those kinds of things. And it pretty much immediately went away, so it worked. So yeah, go for fragrance free, simple skincare. Even things like essential oils, lots of the natural brands have essential oils and they have lots of ingredients that can be irritating. Don't fall for the kind of like natural is better thing, because natural is still, the natural things are still chemicals. Sometimes it's better to go for the kind of more, I think anyway, in my experience, more sort of science-based skincare, because they are fragrance free and they can be more simple, less of a blend of ingredients, maybe less like, I know that I love the natural products, but they have like blends of different plants and essential oils that can be irritating. So just be aware of that. Simplifying doesn't necessarily mean going and buying a natural brand. It depends on the brand. So obviously there's loads out there, but the Ordinary is a good one because they are fragrance free and you can get them in Boots. This is still going, so I've only bought one, and the moisturiser only ran out maybe 3 weeks ago or something, when my skin has been doing better. And so you only need to really buy it once and you're sorted. Now I have actually gone back to kind of being more flexible because I've not had any issues. I did think maybe it would come back, but I'm in my 3rd trimester, so it hasn't. So I've been using the Balance Me stuff. This is natural and kind of backed by science. They're the sort of brand that kind of like blends all the things I love. So they love to have effective skincare that's also nice and natural. This is their Pure Skin face wash. This is the face wash I'm currently using. And then I've been using their vitamin C repair serum. And the main reason I'm using all of their products is because I went to an event recently and they gave me them and I'm just trying them all out. Loving them so far. So this is their vitamin C serum. So I've introduced like treatments back in. And then I also have been trying this Appear calming serum. Things like calming, relaxing, I just feel like that's a good idea when you're pregnant. This has 2% vitamin E and provitamin B5. It's for sensitive skin and dehydrated skin, which is exactly what I'm having in pregnancy. My skin went from being oily to being really, really dry. So I had to change my moisturiser to be much more nourishing. And then I've been using their moisturiser as well. So kind of like Balance Me with a bit of Appear, and then it's because I've been sent these products, and when I receive them I like to try the products I've been sent. I've been using the Balance Me Sheer Tint SPF 30, which is a nice base for your makeup so you don't have to put foundation on. I do find it's still a little bit too dark for my skin tone, so if I use it I have to be careful about blending it down my neck, and I tend to be using it on sunny days because it is a little bit too dark for me, and I don't think it comes in any different colours, but really, really great. And then on days when it's not really sunny and it's cloudy, I've been using the Appear Lift Day Cream SPF 20, which is sun protection for mature skin. So it works against signs of aging and wrinkles. This I wouldn't use on a sunny day or in summer at all because it's way too low of an SPF for my skin type. And I probably wouldn't recommend you do that either. I feel like this is for winter and on days when you're not going outside or it's not sunny, because I think you need to be using a higher SPF. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a dermatologist, but I tend to go for like SPF 30 and above. Do you have a name picked out? We do. And lots of people are also asking about names that I like for the baby but won't, or I'm not using. I really am not the sort of person who has a huge list. I'm so fussy in particular that my list is quite small, and also that list for second baby, I kind of already know what my second child I want to name them, or we do, because we had 2 names for this little girl. So we have 2 girl names, and then the second baby we've got options. So I feel like I don't have like a long list where I'm like, oh yeah, like these are all the names I'm not going to be using, because the list is not that long. these are the kinds of names that I've got down on my list, and there's so few boy names and so many girl names. So names like Eleanor, Isabella, Demelza, Daphne, Nora, Evelyn, Ivy, Iris, Agnes, Audrey, Aubrey, Clementine, Colette, Margot, Odette, Elodie, Marjorie, Winona, Josephine, Matilda. And then for boys, I've got names like Aubrey, Arthur, Stuart, Basil, Robin, Rory. There's a few on there I'm not sharing with you though, because they may be used for our baby in the future. But those are the kinds of names, kind of, they're slightly maybe traditional, ethereal. I feel like that's, honestly, I'm not alone in this. Millennials seem to be going for these kinds of names, because Arthur was like a name that 100% was like, yes, if we have a boy, I want to call him Arthur, because it's a family name too. But I now think it's in the top like 3 or something, which there's nothing wrong with that. You could still use the name, and I maybe I would, but I don't want, part of me is like, I don't want them to be going to school and it being confusing because there's like 4 other Arthurs in the class. And you know, it is what it is, you can't predict that. But I do think that lots of people my age are going for those very traditional, old-fashioned, lovely names, maybe because it's something different to what the names we had when we were growing up. Who knows? Yeah, the name that we have picked for little girl, we both absolutely love. So there's been a few questions about baby stuff that we have got, like stuff for the nursery, prams, car seats. I think that I'll do that video when we manage to sort our nursery out, not in terms of decorating, but when we like sort it out and put everything away. I'll probably vlog that, and then in that video I'll share all the stuff that we've been buying or we've got, so you can see the car seat we've got, the pram we've got, some of her clothes and like all the bits, because this video will be too long if I do that. Just stay tuned for the video where I sort the nursery and I can kind of go through the stuff as I'm sorting it, which will be kind of fun, and show you all the stuff we've picked up along the way. How do you think you'll show your baby girl / what will your attitude to vlogging be? Because I'm not a mum yet, I don't know fully, entirely, 100%. I hate saying things on the internet for then people to pick up on it, because this is just so true of the internet. If you say something once upon a time 10 years ago, there'll be someone who will pick up on the fact that you said that 10 years ago, and they'll say, oh, but actually you said this, so you're lying, or you're not truthful, or that's not what you once said. The magical thing is that people change their minds. People grow, but the annoying thing on the internet is that if you document your life online and you say one thing one day and then 5 years down the line you have a different opinion, people really don't like, or people get very upset with you that that opinion has changed, when they themselves probably have changed dramatically in terms of their opinions in the last 5-10 years. So I'm always cautious now to say anything too rigid, because someone will probably mention it to me in the future. But my approach currently is that I don't want to share my children online because of privacy issues and consent. I know there's a lot of conversation now around family vlogging and the exploitative nature of that. I very much agree that it is exploitative when you have children working, really, when they can't consent to that because they're too young. I do think there is a grey area though. I think there's plenty of people who I watch, love watching their videos, who share their children, and it's definitely not exploitative. Their kids are in their videos, they're doing cute things like baking or going out for the day, and they're a part of the vlog, but they're not being shoved in the camera. It's not their entire, the channel is about the person who's making the channel, and their children are just there with them. And I personally do believe there is a grey area, and I actually follow plenty of people who their kids are present and I know what they look like, and it feels totally fine and lovely and not exploitative or bad. So I do think there is a difference. However, I am cautious, and Alex feels the same. Maybe you've noticed this with my channel in general. I don't show like lots of my friends and family a lot in videos. They pop up here and now, like in my wedding video or my hen do, or sometimes maybe if I'm vlogging. But I tend to not share that. I don't tend to share or vlog when I'm out and about. Also just because I don't want to be getting a camera out and shoving it in people's faces when I'm having a nice time with my friends and family. I don't tend to vlog those moments. My channel is about me, and sometimes a little bit about Alex too. I think that that's kind of how I will be with my daughter and my children. I'm not sure how I feel about completely like, oh, then their face can never be seen. I honestly don't know how I feel about that, but I'm probably going to take the approach of, you can't take away, but you can add. My channel's not going to become a family vlogging channel. My kid's face is not going to be out there all the time, and you're not going to really know what they look like or how they are as their personality, because they can't consent to that at a young age. So I'll just have to navigate it as I feel. But yeah, number one thing for me is protecting them and their privacy and respecting their consent. So that's the approach that I will be personally taking. But I also I really don't judge other people if they're sharing cute memories of their children here and there in their vlogs, because I don't think that's the same as the family vlogs that are exploiting children at all. Will you take time out once baby is born, or is that not realistic as a content creator? Now this is a conversation that is so difficult for me, because I read an article, my sister sent me an article yesterday, and I'll link it below if you are a content creator, all about maternity and being a content creator, taking time off, the effect that has on your business, the added layer of pressure because of things like algorithms, and obviously if you run a business with a team and you just suddenly take 2 months off, that's kind of unrealistic, because maybe another business you could do that because the business was selling a product and you don't need to be there to do that. Unfortunately, as a content creator, I am the product, so I have to be here in order for the business to make money. On my time off, I have people who work with me and they'll be continuing to work because they are a part of the business, and yet I won't be there. So it's just a thing I'm going to have to figure out as I go. I definitely will be taking time off. I would like to take 1 or 2 months off, but I probably will be popping back up here and there. So I don't know, you're just gonna have to wait and see. I imagine I'll probably take about a month off YouTube completely. I really don't know, and again, I'm not being rigid about it. I want to be flexible because I don't know how I will feel. I don't know what my experience will be. I can make a plan, but that plan may change. So just expect to have some distance from me and a break, but I will come back not that long after, because it's the nature of this business. For all its positives, which is that obviously I have flexibility of my own working hours, I can work from home, I can share my life as a new mum, and lots of mums obviously might have to go back to work and be very separate from that, or their partner does. That's the amazing positive side. Obviously the negative side is that I can't really take that full maternity that lots of people can take. But Alex will be at home. So yeah, there's every person's experience is so individual, and I'm so grateful for the fact that Alex will be around with me, so I'm not going to be doing this alone, and that we run our own business, so we can be very flexible with it. And I know so many of you have already messaged me to say, don't you worry, you're doing amazingly, just do what you need to do, we'll be here waiting. And that means so much to me, honestly, because I do think that we have created a community of people who are you're so loyal and supportive that genuinely I think that that's true. You will happily wait until I come back and you'll still be there. I don't think it's as flippant as the nature of things like Instagram and TikTok, where if you disappear, people kind of forget about you. I think YouTube, it's like a TV series. You're okay with there being a break in the TV show because the TV show will come back. I'm slightly nervous about maternity leave, not gonna lie. It's a little bit stressful as a business owner, content creator, when businesses cost a lot to run, and there are expenses. So it's a whole thing, it's a whole world of stuff that I'm gonna have to figure out as I go, because you can't truly plan for it. How is Roxy reacting to your pregnancy? Has she noticed your belly? Roxy used to be my shadow, but now she is constantly attached to me. Well, actually she's not right now, funnily enough, she's downstairs, but she follows me around the house. If Alex is home, she may be a bit more relaxed to not do that, but she will be by my side all the time, and it's adorable because she is my firstborn. What sort of exercise routine did you have in the first trimester? So I have actually been so proud of myself for maintaining exercise throughout my pregnancy. In the first trimester, I kept up strength training, walking every day with Roxy. Apart from the days where I felt sick or it was pouring with rain and really bad weather, Alex would do it then, because I used to say to him, this is not pregnant lady weather, and then he would walk Roxy instead. But I would say generally I was walking Roxy 5-6 times a week, and then the days where I was super nauseous, I was like, I cannot go outside and I cannot go for a walk, and it's too rainy because it was in the depths of winter. So I kept up walking in the first trimester, and I also did strength training through Trainwell, who I've worked with before, and I have a personal trainer on there, Jill, and I was doing strength training probably once or 3 times a week. It would be any variety, so just depending on how I was feeling that week. But I did find that any sort of movement, even though I'd be feeling sick in the morning and I'd think, oh gosh, I just need to sit down, whenever I exercised, the sickness reduced whilst I was exercising, because I'm doing something and it's a distraction. So I would recommend it if you aren't physically being sick. I can't speak to that because I've not experienced that. I was literally only sick maybe once or twice. But if you just have the nausea, then moving your body can be a great distraction. And it was just really light strength training. And then also from, I think, about 18 or 19 weeks, I've been doing pregnancy yoga, which has been amazing. I've been doing it once a week. There was a period of time where I didn't go for maybe, I think it was 2 months out of my pregnancy, which is very frustrating. But my yoga teacher had a holiday and then was off for a week, and then the class didn't go ahead because of everyone being out of sync, and I couldn't make it. There was like 2 months where I just couldn't go for different reasons, but I'm back going again now. And yeah, that was more recent that I didn't go, but when I wasn't going, I was still doing yoga or Pilates at home. I've been doing a little bit of swimming here and there. I've just not been putting pressure on it and just making sure I'm doing something every week. So whatever my body feels like, and getting outside in the garden, doing lots of gardening, not stopping my like physical activity just because I'm pregnant, doing what feels comfortable for me. Yeah, lots and lots of walking, and I think that's really, really helped me. And I actually think potentially the reason that my back pain happened is because I haven't been as active recently because of that time off of yoga, and I've been busier, so I've been not making the time for exercise that I had been throughout my pregnancy. I think it's that kind of third trimester where you're like, well, I've made it this far, do I really need to be exercising still? And you do, because I think that's why my back is hurting. So I'm going to go back to trying to do more, maybe go swimming soon. So I'd really recommend keeping it up. It's very, very good for you. Some people are also asking about how my content will change, because I know that when I shared I was pregnant, I did have a few people being like, oh my goodness, you're just making your whole channel about being pregnant now. This is so annoying, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, my channel has always been about me and what's going on in my life. And obviously I have that integral focus of recipes and vegan food, which I share mainly now in short form on my Instagram and TikTok and my website. That's obviously the heart of what I do, is, you know, recipes and stuff, but I've always just shared me and my life and what I'm getting up to, what's going on with me, or the thing that I'm exploring, and that will remain. Obviously I am now pregnant, and then I will be becoming a mother, so that is going to be involved in my content. So I don't see it as changing in terms of the actual content I'm filming. I just see it as changing as much as my content has changed over the years, as you have watched. Obviously I'm no longer living in Brighton on a budget like a student, trying to cook up meals, learning all about minimalism and sustainability, and, you know, really engaging and embracing that. We're no longer living in a smaller cottage, renovating it and sharing that with you. Right now I'm in a phase of life where I am pregnant, and so I'm sharing that experience. So it will be the same as any of those changes in my career online. I will be in motherhood, so I will share that experience, but I'm still the same person, so I still will be sharing all the things I have been sharing: renovations, recipes, gardening, life in Cornwall. That will all be there still. It just will be with the addition of the fact that I'm now a mum. So maybe lots of you, I feel like lots of you are on board with it anyway, because lots of you are a similar age or older, and so you've either been through it, or you're currently going through it, or you're looking to go through it with pregnancy and motherhood. But also if you're not, all that other stuff still is there. Who knows what it will be like, but I'm not going to suddenly change my content to be completely different. It will be the same, but I'll just be a mum now. So how have you been preparing yourself for birth? So I have a doula, which I think is really beneficial if you're having a home birth. It's obviously a cost, so it's something that we considered. I haven't done things like NCT or any other birthing courses, because our doula does one-on-one birth prep support, and that's been really helpful so far. So because I'm going to be at home, I wanted that consistent support for birth outside of my circle of family and Alex, because I think that can be really, really helpful. So that's one of the main things that I've done, and I'm really glad I've done it, because it has alleviated a lot of my worries and stress around giving birth at home, worrying about things like Alex maybe fainting, how I'm going to feel, whether if there's big changes, or the preferences I have go out the window. Like, that just makes me feel very reassured that there's someone there who's there to just be my support throughout the whole thing. I've also been listening to lots of podcasts and trying to do reading. I haven't been doing it recently because I feel like I've just not been in the mindset of thinking about baby, which is sad. But I've been so in the mindset of my work and also the cottage that I just feel like my brain has not had the space for baby stuff. Also, I think I overdid it in the first trimester. I was listening to podcasts every day about babies and birth experiences, listening to books, audiobooks and reading them, and I think I just overdid it. It started to make me feel a bit like, oh, like when is information too much information? And I know myself that I like to know stuff, but also I can't absorb all of this because it's just making me feel a bit overwhelmed and there's so much conflicting information. It's kind of taking it away from what I envisaged for my birth or what I want to experience. I think hearing some more sort of negative birth stories can be helpful because it can give you a realistic idea that things won't necessarily go to plan. But listening to too many of them, I think it started to make me feel like, oh, there's no point in me even trying to plan a positive home birth if that's just not even going to be a thing. And when I saw my doula, it kind of brought me back to, no, it can be a thing and you can focus on that and go into it thinking that way, as long as you're educated and understand the exceptions and the things that can change. I do really recommend the Positive Birthing book. Is that what it's called? The one kind of all about like hypnobirthing. And I also really recommend Matrescence, the audiobook, and the book that I wish my parents had read. Is that what it's called? I'll link those ones. I'll link my recommendations for the books that I really did like, as well as the podcasts. But if you're feeling it's too much information, you're overwhelmed by it, just don't. Just listen to the stuff that you enjoy, because honestly, getting through pregnancy is enough. And if you go to maybe NCT or any sort of birth preparation classes, sometimes that can be enough too, or just reading one book or two books that feel appropriate. You don't need to overload yourself, because sometimes I think we're in a day and an age now where overload of information is just too much. I know we don't have the communities in the village, as they say, you know, it takes a village. We don't have that as we once did, so we're having to find that information elsewhere. But sometimes I think we have far too much information at our fingertips, and that can actually make us feel worse. So yeah, I've been preparing, but I've also been taking a step back from the overload. So I think we'll finish on this question. Are you keeping positive and excited? I am, for the most part. I think my overall deep feeling is that I'm really excited, I'm really positive, I'm looking forward to giving birth, that experience, I'm looking forward to meeting our baby, I'm looking forward to the changes. I'm also aware of like how much of a upheaval and like switch that will be, but I'm ready to embrace it. I also am feeling a little bit like, oh, the time is running out. And I know that in my second trimester I shared a few videos about how my mental health was I was really struggling. I was finding it really difficult, and I'm so glad to be over that hill. But I feel like now I'm over that hill, which I'm so grateful for actually, because if I was feeling this way with that on top of it, I would probably crumble. I'm just feeling that clock ticking of things that we're doing, my work and with the cottage. It's a bit like, gosh, baby is really going to be here soon, and are we going to get it all done? So I'm having to kind of let go a little bit and go, I can only do what I can do, and I can't control everything, and that's okay. And it's actually quite a good life lesson. It's probably a lesson that my baby is teaching me before she's even here, that I can't control time or everything that's going on in life and manage it in the same way that maybe I used to, because now there's somebody else involved and she is the priority. It's just an understanding that, and that can be difficult some days, because some days I'm like, oh, I really want to be at the cottage to get it done so we can put that to bed and it be finished, because the original plan was for it to open in like spring, summer, and now it's like, is it even going to be open before the baby arrives? Who knows? Sometimes I can't get away because of work, because I'm busy with work, and then like I said about maternity, I have to prepare for that. You know, I've got to maybe pre-film some things and organise stuff ahead of being off for a little bit of time. That anticipation, I suppose, is getting to me, and I'm just trying to take it day by day, and I can only do what I can do. So the days where I feel like I'm not capable, like the last couple of days when I haven't been able to do as much because I've been on my arse because my back hurts, I just have to go, you know, I literally can't do anything about this. So what's the point in feeling miserable? What's the point in stressing? It's only going to make me feel worse. Why add to it by really like wallowing in that feeling? I have to be adult about it, and I have to understand that this is just what it is. And I'm actually so incredibly lucky, and I'm so grateful for the situation I'm in. And you have to put it into perspective, because obviously it's normal to feel like worried about baby coming and how that's going to change your life and the kind of deadlines and things that you're trying to get done before they come. But like the reality is all of these things are lovely things. You know, opening up a lovely cottage and doing that up, and my work stuff is all really fun, lovely, cool, exciting things that I could only have dreamed of 10 years ago. So I have to remind myself of that when I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. And it's like, yeah, but they're all great things. Yeah, I think that's an amazing lesson that I've already learned from motherhood ahead of her being here, that she is the most important thing and she is the priority, and I can't do it all because I'm not 3 people, I'm just one and I'm pregnant. That's what I'm going to end it on. Sorry it's not a normal vlog, but maybe this is a bit more kind of relaxing for you to watch, and we'll be back on Wednesday for the renovation videos. Hope you've been loving them. If you've not been catching up, we've been renovating a cottage in Newlyn near Penzance in Cornwall, and we've been documenting it pretty much every single week since we started. So you've got a whole playlist to enjoy of renovation vlogs, and there'll be another one on Wednesday, and next week we'll be back to regular scheduled vlogs as usual. So I'll see you next week. Give this video a thumbs up, and yeah, bye.